Here's a Super VHS ET VCR. It's a JVC, and the model is the HR-S3800U. And this is the first time I've ever owned a Super VHS VCR. I haven't used it much yet. It seemed pretty low usage. I had this set up in my living room for a while, which ironically enough, the flat screen of my living room doesn't have an S-VHS input, and in fact has a pretty poor composite input. So you have a lot of really red flesh tones and poor contrast and whatnot, so it wasn't a good use for this. And on top of it, I went to go watch this movie one day, and the tracking wasn't working correctly. So a lot of the time the linear time counter wasn't counting and the tracking was going in and out. And I went, oh, that's weird. Maybe there's a damage to this tape. Come on. That was a two-handed operation. So I popped the tape out and took a look. You can take a look here. And you'll see that the tape is a little bit chewed up on the bottom. It's not bad. Camera really doesn't want to focus on that. There. So you see it's a little bit to the bottom. It's a little chewed up, and I went, oh, maybe that's what happened here. Maybe the tracking pulse is all chewed up. And I just assumed that was the case until later on I was videoing another VCR and I popped this in and it played perfectly. And I went, well, like, is this just way more sensitive? And as luck would have it, YouTube read my mind, because they're Google and they know everything about you, and recommended a 12-volt vids video, who I highly recommend, by the way. He is a video repair genius. He's got a lot of old school knowledge from back in the day that, like, it's hard to find that level of experience and knowledge anymore. I absolutely love it. Anyway, he had a video for like a 4900 series JVC Super VHS machine, very similar, and it had the exact same problem. And he actually jumped in, and the audio tracking head has a little ribbon cable going to it that had a bad contact. So what I'm about to do is find out if that's the case on my machine. And if it is, we can try testing out the Super VHS ET. I don't have a blank Super VHS tape. I mean, we could try drilling holes and getting all crazy. I don't know if I have any, high quality blanks, but at least we can play around with the functionality on it. So let's first pop in a tape and see how it plays. Okay, so here's what I'm getting. Oh, come on. Bit of squeaking inside there, and might be the tape. I do remember that the tracking problem would come and go as the tape played. So I'm just gonna fast forward a bit here and see if maybe... So other than a bit of peeling at the top here, oh, that's paused. Let's play. Yeah, that peeling kicks in and out. But the tracking seems to be working now, so this might just be on the cusp of having that problem. Let me fast forward a bit through the tape and see if I can find a spot that'll show this symptom.
Anyone on the air.
Hey, Stanley.
Yeah, George?
How'd you like their own TV show?
There we go.
Okay. You get the drink from...
So it looks like here's the symptom. So the tracking is going in and out. It can't seem to find a tracking pulse. And if I go to the front, there's no tracking pulse. And you can see every once in a while it moves a second, like this is negative, so it's going to go down. But it's really not picking up enough information. And that can be seen on the display here. Oh, it's a classic movie. I want to watch UHF now. So now it's playing okay. And you can see it counted a little bit. Yep, see, now it's playing okay. So it seems to be jumping in and out. Notice this until going over the footage, but that S-VHS light seems to be turning on and off while the tracking goes nuts. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a symptom, maybe there's something I have to turn off, or maybe the tape's just confusing it. And it's just constantly trying to calibrate. It'll pick up the tracking pulse and then lose it and then jump in and out. It's not completely trashed, like it seems to play okay, and when I tried watching this movie, some scenes were working okay, so I guess the next step is to pop it open. And we're in. So look inside. Pretty par for the course. It's got the style of pinch roller and capstan that goes inside the cassette. I know in 12-volt vids he was saying that the type of pinch roller that drops down and the capstan that's way out here and it pulls way out over to here to drive the tape was on modern VCRs that leave the tape threaded when they're fast forwarding and rewinding, and yeah, it's dropping out like crazy. But I've seen a lot of modern VCRs that don't have that mechanism. So, I mean, I would take it that the drop-down capstan is better, but it's not in every machine. Modern seems to be hit or miss. Anyway, side note. This sounds like it was the culprit. And we're still not getting a lot of movement on the counter here. Alright, I don't have a camera mount, so I couldn't film the action, but I will describe it in excruciating detail. Popped this part of the ribbon cable out, it's just friction held, so you can carefully pull it up. Sprayed it with some contact cleaner, and then kind of pushed it back in and out a little bit to clean the contacts before putting it in. For this side, pulled it out, and just sprayed some contact cleaner on a Q-tip. Same thing. Cleaned off the surface, got a lot on there, moved it in and out a few times. Now, let's see if that made a difference. Oh. Step 1. Plug in the VCR. It still looks to be dropping out. Like you get a few seconds and then it stops. Then it counts, stops. And video calibration is popping up every once in a while. It's not, the tracking's not dropping out, but like this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, that's not right. I'm gonna try another movie. Because I'm gonna go back to what I originally thought with this machine, and that it's just kind of sensitive. And that if the tape was chewed up with the tracking pulse, that this one just wasn't able to pick it up as well. Either it's not aligned as well or whatever. Because yeah, look at that. That's what you want to see. You want to see the seconds count properly. Copyrighted movie that I'm not going to show any more of. Okay, Sony's hooked up. with its gray screen. Yeah, see, it sees the tracking pulse just fine. And I had this in another VCR, not this one, but another admittedly kind of low-end machine, and it was playing this tape perfectly fine. I assumed that this tape was junk based on how the JVC was playing it, and just had relegated it to my test tape pile. But I mean, this is playing it fine. It's got a little bit of peel every once in a while on the top here, but otherwise you don't get the weird tracking pulse issues like the JVC. Yeah, see, it's got a bit of an error at the top here. Like magic, it's like I never put the cover back on. Just noticed this. So, you know, sometimes in old machines you will shorten the spring as it starts to lose its tension, and that's fine. But I don't think this has ever been opened. This was not done. This was done from factory. That's kind of janky. Kind of janky. So what I think I'm going to do is just, I don't really have a good picture source for recording and testing ET, but maybe, yeah, I'll get my DTV box out. That has an okay picture. Okay, before I go and do that, just side talk, and let's see if I can get this in here. I probably can't. So my understanding of the linear heads in a VCR is that this head here does your audio and your tracking pulse. I think I've got that right. And this one beside here is an erase head specifically for audio. And that was in the early VCRs that had the audio dub feature. This erase head only has, see if I put my finger there, you can sort of see in the reflection there's a little erase head at the top. And then as I move my finger down, the rest is just smooth. So if you look there, you can see the erase head, and it would just blank out the audio section so that you could dub in new audio for linear audio tracks. But what's interesting is that a lot of modern VCRs still use this head assembly, because it's all together in one piece, that has this audio erase head. And as far as I'm aware, it's not needed on a VCR that doesn't do audio editing. That Sony SLV998 that I said it must just record audio on audio, I was mistaken. It's actually using this erase head to clear the audio when it inserts audio in the editing feature. But this doesn't have that. This would just use this one full erase head, and then it puts the video on and then the two tracks. So unless this is a redundant head so you get nicer audio, like a cleaner audio track, I don't know. I really don't know why that's there. In some of the really cheap modern VCRs, I haven't run into one in person, but I've seen them. They don't have this at all. They'll just have just this audio tracking head and then a little piece of black plastic to sort of take the place of this so that the tape will have the same path across this head. So like a fake audio erase head. I don't know. If someone knows more about that, please enlighten me. I'm fascinated by this stuff. Alright, here's the plan. Got a brand new blank Fuji Pro T120. Probably not the best tape, but it's at least higher in their line than their standard one. Obviously not S-VHS, and Master I guess would have a better tape formula, but this'll do. I've got my single channel. This doesn't, I don't have the remote for this, so I can't program in more channels. It's got two. One it doesn't get very well, and one it does get. So we're going to wait for this to go to commercial. I'm going to unwrap this tape, and then we'll see how to set ET. Oh, look at that. There's something so satisfying about unwrapping a brand new tape cassette. There's no fingerprints, there's no grease, it is just fresh. So now I press that button, the light comes on. So it's in S-VHS, which I'm assuming will be ET. And I don't know if I need to set anything up. Let me grab the remote. Get out of here. So grab the remote and program. No, that's for calendar. You can set the speed. Want that at SP. If I were menu, oh, right there. And we can go through here. So function set, video calibration on, picture control auto, don't care, don't know what that is, don't know, video stabilizer, yeah, let's put that on. Blue screen, yeah, second audio, no. Hi-Fi, SVHS mode on, so if I press this front button, interesting. Turns the SVHS logo on and off, but doesn't seem to change this. AV CompuLink, yeah, we don't use that. Rear auxiliary. Let's go back. Tuner set. Yeah, we don't care about that. Initial set. Clock. Language. Yeah, that's all good. So we can hop out of here, and I think all I need to do is wait for a commercial break, and then we can hit record. I know if I try and record this, YouTube's gonna... Oh, what luck. Okay. Record. So it's doing the video calibration, so it's checking to see what kind of tape this is, and I guess what it's able to record onto here. And I think it's done. I think I just missed the calibration. We are recording. Now, unfortunately, I can't just record the same thing again in non-ET mode, although this is CBC, so they will play the same commercials again next commercial break, so I could probably just wait and then hit record again. They're really good at hammering the same commercials over and over into your face. But, yeah. Front display, got the SVHS logo on. What will it show if I hit display? What does it tell me? Nothing. I think that must do the front screen, which it does. I guess there's no way to show the on-screen display. That's all outside of my control. Well, this is Enter OSD. Oh, there we go. So it doesn't say anything about ET. That's all it shows. And that squeaking wasn't that previous tape. Something in here has got a bit of a squeak. I may need to go through this mechanism. So before I show the results, I just want to explain how I hooked everything up. So the JVC VCR is hooked up to a Sony DVD recorder. It's got an S-video input, and I'm using that to upscale or convert to HDMI. That's going to an HDMI to USB capture card. From there, the output, I'm actually zooming in to make it fit the 1080p video that you're seeing. So the vertical resolution is actually even crappier than if I had just left this at a 4:3 aspect ratio.
We're all doing our part by staying home, knowing the decisions we make will help Manitoba today and for the future. We're all in this together.
So that's interesting. You can clearly see a difference with the SVHS ET and SP mode, and then you can see it gradually go down with ET SP, regular SP, ET EP, and then regular EP on this just looks like trash. There is so much noise. Ugh. If you aren't sick of that commercial yet, at the end I'm gonna just play each recording one by one so you can see the difference if you really hate yourself and want to watch it 4 more times. In the meantime, I know some people are going to want to watch this load. And by the way, that squeaking I was hearing is unfortunately coming from the video head drum, so it doesn't sound like a bearing issue, like a rubbing, it's just a squeaking, so it doesn't seem to have any bearing on the picture. So at least there's that. Here's something interesting. To remove a cassette, push down on the two latches and slide this plate forward. So there's a latch and a latch. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess with this, but I believe you push down on this and slide forward and you can just lift the tape up. I guess they're planning for when this modern 2000s era VCR breaks and you need to take your tape out.
We're all doing our part by staying home, knowing the decisions we make will help Manitoba today and for the future. We're all in this together. We're all doing our part by staying home, knowing the decisions we make will help Manitoba today and for the future. We're all in this together. We're all doing our part by staying home, knowing the decisions we make will help Manitoba today and for the future. We're all in this together. We're all doing our part by staying home, knowing the decisions we make will help Manitoba today and for the future. We're all in this together.